Well, hello. So I thought I would go ahead and answer some questions because I've got so many questions coming in about what's happening, what's going on. So many people saying they're still saying crash, crash. So I thought, all right, well, let me see if I can answer some of your buyers' questions that you have about what's going on right now. And I'm going to actually show you some graphs. This is actually going to be legitimate things that you're going to get to see with your own eyes on what's really truly going on. Is it going to crash? Well, let me quickly answer that question for you before we get going. I don't know if you remember what it was like after the last crash. It was a bit of a feeling of confusion. You know, people were like not sure what to do. Should we go ahead and buy? Should we not buy? It was really just true confusion. I don't know about you, but I feel that right now. I feel a bit of confusion, which tells me we've already had the crash. But what is a crash? A crash doesn't actually mean that the market is going to completely change. It doesn't actually mean that all of a sudden the bottom drops out of it. What does it mean when the bottom drops out of it? So let's talk about what it meant back in 2020. I'm sorry, 2008, when the bottom dropped out of it. The easiest way for me to show you what that was like is to actually show you a graph that will hopefully allow you to see with your own eyes what that looks like. So let me share this screen with you real quick, and then you get to see that. So this is a graph from the 1960s, basically 1970s until now. This should open your eyes a little bit to being able to see what happened. And this is a graph that says median sales prices of house homes sold. But if you look at it here, you'll see that it was pretty smooth, and then it had this drop right here. What do you call that? I would call it a market correction, right? And so then we start going up. So, but look how we went up before we went down, right? And then we start climbing, then we have another little up and then a down, and then up and then down, and then up and down, up and down. Basically safe to say the market always goes up, down, up, down. But what do you see on this graph that is truly an eye opener? A consistent up, right? Now, here's your crash that everyone thinks is happening right now. This is that crash, right? So it went up, went up, went up, and then it went down. But look what it went down. Look how far it went up before it ever, and look how little it went down, right? So if we were to look at the median sales price, and we look at this specific area right here, we're talking about 260,000, 60,000 median sales price on the peak. All right. And then if you go down, you'll see that's right around 2008. And then right over here around 2010, you see it's going back up, right? But if you look at how much did that go down? Ask yourself that question. So 270,000 median sales price down to 210,000. So what are we talking? A $60,000 price reduction on average? Median sales price, so maybe on average. And on average means depending on where the price was. So some prices went down lower, some prices went down higher. And this was median sales price across the United States from back in the day. So I know my hometown area, so shout out to the Tulare, Visalia, Layton area where I'm from, Hanford and all that in California. There were some properties that people were buying for down in the 20, 30, $40,000 ranges, depending on the neighborhood, depending on the area. But at the same time, when it was selling prior to that, it wasn't selling at 200,000. It wasn't selling up here at 200,000 when it peaked. They were selling up into the 100,000s, like maybe low 100,000s. And those properties during the crash dropped 50, 60, 70,000, and they were able to get them for 40,000, 30,000. Woo, the price dropped out of it. Oh my goodness. So if we talk about now, we continue to go up, but look at that gap. It was a short period of time, went right back up. So why are you buying a house today? What is it you don't love about your current house? Because what you don't love about it would be the house you'd be looking for today. So if we say we're waiting for the bottom to drop out of it, that we want to buy a house when the bottom drops out of it, all right, when it crashes, the best time to buy is when you're not bidding against a bunch of people and you can offer less, right? You can offer a whole lot less. That's what you want. Not a whole lot less. You just want to offer less. You want to get a good deal. That's what most buyers want to do, get a good deal. So if you're waiting still, I'm wondering what you're waiting for, because we already had the shift right? We're already in a neutral market right now. We're already in a neutral market. But as this graph, and I'm going to stop this one and I'm going to show you something real quick. Another one. So if we look at this graph right here, this one shows you what the actual, where did it go? Oh, I lost it. There it is. Okay. What the actual homes built versus population by decade. So what happened after that crash of 2008, 2009-ish? Well, there was a lot of babies being born, or at least a lot of new people added to the population, versus the amount of houses being built during the early 2000s, first decade of the 2000s. Very small amount of homes being built. It was very sad. I remember I was a police officer at the time, driving around and seeing these brand new homes that were being built that were now boarded up. I remember going for calls for service where wire was being stripped out of these brand new construction houses that never got completed, never got lived in. Wire was being stripped out of them, and we were taking theft calls for service. That's what happened. Builders were going bankrupt. Things were happening, right? And that happened at the crash. So that was a crash that was basically, for the most part, the decline was actually caused, the recession that occurred back then was basically caused, and it was around the home sales, the home prices. So when we look at this graph and we can see what happened and how no homes were being sold during that time, no homes were being built, very few were being built. In this graph right here, it says during the 2000 to 2010, it was roughly, well, in the 2000 it says 27,000, but 2010's 27 million, 6 million homes built. 6 million homes built during that time. Okay, so 6 million homes built during that time, guys, but there was 27 million new people added to the population that need homes. So if you're waiting right now, how many people did not get a home during the last 2 years? Where are those people right now? They're still renting and they still want a home. But if they're all waiting right now for the interest rates to go down, guess what? You're all going to decide to buy again during the same exact time. So what's going to happen? Again, you're not going to get a house. So what's the best time to buy a house? When you can. That's when you buy. You don't buy when your market falls out, because then you're bidding against a million people. You don't want to buy when the property is worth sky high because you're bidding against a million people. You want to buy when you can afford to buy. And then when the interest rates go down, guess what? You refinance. It's a very simple equation. You refinance and all of a sudden it's like, oh goodness, I just got a big old break on my mortgage. But the cool part about it is you own that house. So you get to do that. You get to refinance. Right? So right now you can actually offer less for a house. In some cases, it's a great opportunity for you as a buyer to get into a house, because if a house that you may wanted, but it's just been sitting there for 30 days, guess what? Those sellers are like, man, I can't even get somebody to offer on my house right now. Just give me an offer. If I'm overpriced, just for goodness grace, give me an offer. Tell me what my house is worth, because the value of a house is not what it's appraised for. It's what a buyer and seller agree to on a purchase price. That's the value of it. That's your market value. So if you think this house is worth less, what are you waiting for? If you need a house, put an offer on it. And then next year, when inflation goes down and interest rates go down, refinance it. Get in right now at a 5% interest rate. I saw on Monday, I got something flashed before my eyes on Monday that actually said interest rates, and I think I still have it up on my computer here, that actually said interest rates were for an FHA was 4.83%. I don't know if that is still the case or not, but that's what was showing on, as of Monday, I got this, 30-year fixed FHA 4.83%. This is the average rates, of course. I mean, it depends on what your current credit score is. But a 30-year fixed conventional was 5.48. So say you get in at 5.48% today, you get the house you want, that you wanted for your family at the price you want. Maybe you didn't quite want to pay that much, but you're able to get in and offer a lot less and be able to get the house. Next year, inflation goes down. interest rates go down, maybe they get back down into a comfortable 3.5%, 4%, because that's a pretty comfortable normal interest rate, 3.5%, 4%. We're not really that high right now. We're just high because prices are high. But what if you can offer lower and get an interest rate that is okay for you right now, but then you turn around and refinance later when interest rates go down, and now it's like you get a break. All of a sudden, wow, I just had a big old break on my mortgage payments. They just dropped by $200 or $150 or whatever it might end up dropping to. Who knows what you get at that point in time. But all said and done, just remember this one statement. You don't choose to buy a house when the market's high, when the market's low. You buy when you can. Now, if you're an investor and a flipper and you want to buy, what are you doing? I don't have to have this conversation with you because you're smart. You know what you're doing. You're offering on homes. You're offering less. You're already doing it. It's those of you out there, and you are smart. Don't get me wrong. You're very smart. It's those of you out there that are questioning whether or not you need to wait longer. How much longer are you going to wait? We want you to get a home. You want to get a home for your family. So you want to offer when you can buy a house and when you can get it less than what it's currently worth. Well, if that's what you're truly wanting, now's the time, because everything right now is worth what it appraised for in the last 6 months. That's the value of the house. But market value of the house is what you believe it's worth. So get out there, write some offers, go get your home for you and your family. And then enjoy it for the rest of your life, or however long you decide to keep it. Enjoy your time, enjoy your home now, or you can keep paying someone else's mortgage if you're renting. And then how much have you lost? I have a graph for that as well too, but I'm going to save that for another video. Have a great day. Get out there and write some offers and get your home for your family. Talk to you soon.